Welcome everybody to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about RPG horror stories. If you guys aren't familiar, there is a subreddit specifically for this, r/tabletop horror stories. There are a few others that overlap and cover this kind of thing. I found some personal favorite excerpts that weren't, how do we say, too over the top. There's truly some abysmal and horrific things, but those aren't not as funny. They more cover the awful elements of humans rather than the game itself. So, without further ado, let me get into this. Enemy uses some charm thing on me. Inform DM that as a devotion paladin, I'm immune to charm. Oh, this one ignores your immunity. Make a wisdom save. Roll a 23. You failed. Fun times. Your DM is an asshole. This is true. This is true. As a side note, not only would this piss me off as a player, but like if it was my character, but also if I was a party member. Don't ever do this to your players. The only time it's acceptable to bypass a rules as written thing for them is in very specific situations, and it needs to be something that your players are okay with. Like, you as the DM should probably know what your players are and aren't okay with after a bit of playing with them, but don't just randomly be like, yeah, your abilities don't matter. Next on our lovely list, we have, okay, the bird meme is pretty choice for like rules lawyers players and various other shitbag players. So yeah, sure, you can do that. No, just keep in mind that no, that's not how the rules work. That's not how the rules work. But if you want to play it, we can play it your way. I think, I wouldn't say every DM by any means, but a lot of DMs can probably relate to this or have had a player like this, that they either are another DM or there's somebody that has devoutly studied the rule book 3 times backwards, forwards, sideways, upside down, and they know how the game should be played and they want to play it that way. A lot of the times what they want to do is they want to play a video game in which they can go outside of the invisible wall boundaries. But it can come from a variety of different places. I firmly agree you should run your games how you want as a DM. Only backside of that is you need to make sure your players are okay with it. If you're homebrewing rules. If you're doing something crazy over the top, definitely okay with your players. Another fun one from this meme format. When the group's asleep, I sneak away. I contact my patron. I ask what he's doing. I never went to sleep. I grab my warlock friend and bring him back to the group. This is like on the tip of the metagaming iceberg, which is a whole other video in its own right. There are things that are assumed. Like you going to sleep when you say you're going to sleep. Not being like every single night, I got one eye open. I'm waiting. He's gonna go see his patron. It also is a dick move because it ruins a cool moment for the other player. Like, yeah, they're gonna go talk to their patron and have like a one-on-one RP moment that's gonna be like substantial maybe, and the DM gets to have like a shining moment too where they like reveal something, or like, don't be this guy. Okay, this one's a bit more on the technical side, but this one as a DM, like, I wouldn't say I'm a perma DM, but I'm a frequent DM. It hurts my soul a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna go over something that's happened to me in the last game. Tell me if it's fair. So you guys tell me if you think this is fair too, because I don't. We're in a stone hallway in a dungeon. I have a stick. I swing the stick in front of me to trigger any wire traps and pressure plates. So yeah, if you have if there's wire crossing a dungeon path and you're swinging your stick through it, up, down, left, right, you're touching stones. Okay, DM says there's none. I step forward. I immediately trigger a foot level wire that shot me with an arrow. Okay. His defense. Well, you checked the squares. You didn't check the lines between the square in front of you. So, to me, this reads as the DM being, I want to hit them with this trap. I want to chip off some of their HP or make them use shit or worried. So my next fight is like more impactful, or I just want to hurt them in some way. The player found I mean, it's not like the most unique way in the world, but they found a way to check for traps that is different than I just want to roll and see if I see something. Which props to them. And then you kind of like semantics them almost. I firmly believe that the player shouldn't have to imply every single nuanced thing that they do, but there's some things that they should say. This is one of those ones where for me, I'm like, they implied enough to be like, I am trekking in front of me with stick. I hit wire. The moral of the story is, don't be a dick to your players if they do something creative. Don't punish them for doing something that's not just, I walk forward and I roll. Same thing with social encounters. If someone's just like, I want to go persuade this person. Okay, well, how do you talk to them? You're like, you want to encourage the opposite of that. Like trying to be creative. All right, next. Okay, wait. This one's a long one. Be me, 19. Just moved to the Midwest for a better job and cheaper living. Have the urge to play some D&D. Decide to join Adventurers League. This is all very, very relatable content. I've actually never played Adventurers League though, Chad. I've heard so many things about it, both good and bad. Join up with new tier 1 group. Group is ran by an OG DM from the Gygaxian era. Players consisted of half-elf sorcerer, chill Palabro's sister who is playing a wizard, and a rogue we'll call Evil Fucking Child. EFC was about 14, was very hyperactive, and was the son of the DM. To DM's credit, he was a really good parent, and an even better DM who punished EFC both in and out of the game when necessary. So that's good at least. At least he wasn't just like chilling for his child. At first, I thought it was awesome that DM was teaching his son how to play D&D. Little did I know that that little fuck was going to set my standard for that guys for years to come. That's impressive that they're already that guy at 14. And if you don't know what the that guy stereotype is, just think of every bad trope for a player or DM or person. Almost every neckbeardy trope you can think of. To best describe this kid to be 5'1", 250 pounds, raggedy blonde hair, and he had the darkest eyes, the devil's eyes. Here's a list of all the shit he tried to pull. The first session we played, EFC wanted everyone to fight his PC in order for us to prove our worth. A very annoying tendency of some players. PvP combat in D&D can work out. It's just all about how you do it. If you're doing it for the right reasons, I'll never raise a finger against it. If you just met characters and you're like, I want to fight you for no reason, it's like, why? EFC would typically interject in almost every conversation. We learned to talk over him. Fun table manners, we like that here. Yeah. EFC would scream if anyone but him got a kill. Sick. Very fun to play with. EFC would hit on Sarah even though she made it abundantly clear she was not interested in a Spurg who was 4 years younger than her. See, it's just... My question at this point is, why is this person still at the table? Like, dad or not dad? Like, why are they still here after doing all of this? And there's more. There's so much more here. EFC once killed an important NPC because I thought she was going to kill us. NPC was a little girl. Ah, yes. Too much watching The Ring, I suppose. EFC would often bitch that his character was underpowered and call our PCs overpowered. It's ironic since he's playing a rogue. I mean, rogues are one of the classes that can do the most single action DPS in D&D outside of like high level spells. Especially if you're an assassination rogue, you can attack first and then auto crit with all your sneak attack dice. It's pretty nasty business. EFC once tried to assassinate my character. Well, speaking of assassinations, EFC once had his character eat an important item that was needed to defeat the end boss. Very sick. EFC would tend to run headfirst into battle rather than sneaking around. You know, like a fucking rogue. Rogue barbarian, it's fine. EFC would try to use his relationship with a DM to get better loot for himself. Never worked. But all in all, it was minor compared to the most evil thing anyone has ever done to me. So I won't go into the full one on this because it is quite long. But the highlights are this child took OP's phone, took the SIM card out, put it in their phone, and then proceeded to try to get nudes from OP's girlfriend. And then broke up with said girlfriend from his phone. A lesson to us all to not let your phone sit out near people. And your SIM card can be taken and used as if it's your number. Fun fact. Because that's where your phone number is attached to, is your SIM card. So that one's pretty fucking off. All of a 14-year-old. This is like, I mean, this is like the kid that hurts animals too, right? Like the serial killer kid, right? Jesus, it's so fucking... It makes my stories tame in comparison, so I'm glad that my shit's not this bad. And one of the last ones I found, any D&D 5e game through Messenger, I will join. I'm never busy. Also, I require being able to use my homebrew items. I bar all homebrew at my table, personally. I have my own stuff as a DM that I've play tested with other players. And if it's not play tested, I will be straight up with my party that this is new. I will adjust it if it's broken in any way. D&D wiki is off limits. We do not go there because it is full of shit that's broken and you're rolling the dice with half of it. Homebrew can be super cool. It can be super cool. There's a fine line, right? Personally, so my stories, now that we've done this, I don't think I have anything quite as crazy as some of those. I do have a lovely rules lawyer player that I had at one point, but he would get the rules wrong. Like if you've ever like, there's another sub for this, and there's tweets about this one too, but like confidently wrong people. So he would confidently tell me a rule, argue one. Like one was in 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, right? We're playing 5e. You can attack, move, and then attack again. They allowed you, like, if you have multiple attacks, you can do that. It's in the rules as written, even. Like, your attack action, like if you have extra attack, or a bonus attack action. He was so obstinate against me for using I used an NPC like that. Like, there was a monster we were fighting. I actually want to say it was like a black dragon. And he's like, well, he can't do that. And I was like, no, he can't. He can attack, move, attack. Because he has multi-attack. We got in like it got to the point where I had to look it up for him. It was like a 5-minute conversation where he wouldn't accept my ruling, and then I had to look it up, take another 5 to 10 minutes, and then point out the sentence, and then he had to read it, take like 5 minutes to process it, and be like, oh, I wonder if they like, and just like backtracked it, basically. I don't mind looking stuff up in the book during a session. I think it can be good, but a lot of times it just really blocks stuff up. Like, you usually make a ruling and you move along, and if you disagree with it or want to change it, talk about it afterwards. Or if it's like really earth-shattering, I'll absolutely look it up, like character death or something like that. But yeah, he just second-guessed me at every turn. Some of the worst I've had. It's pretty tame, honestly. I've had some decently behaved players, just like rules lawyers and min-maxers that want to like. They want to puff up and like question my shit, and I'm like, no, this is how it be. I've had the murder hobo, horny on main characters players before. That definitely happens as well. It's just you teach them, you educate them as it goes through, right? They learn soon enough. But my ramblings aside, what about you guys? Have you guys had any of these crazy stories where a player does something off the chain, or a DM or GM in any tabletop game? What are your horror stories? Please tell me. Outside of that, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please do, if you like the content, subscribe, like, put a comment down there. I do like being responsive to people. If you enjoy hearing my voice and rambling, you can always check me out at twitch.tv/GilgameshKing07. I usually stream about 3 days a week, mostly weekends. Usually just play chill, laid back games. We do a lot of D&D here and there, though. A lot of tabletop stuff, and you can always get me wound up by it. But until then, I'll see you guys next time.